Hello, adult learners. My name is Elizabeth Hamilton, and I am a current student in the SIU Higher Education Doctorate Program. And today, for my adult learning activity video assignment class, I am going to teach you, lucky viewers of the internet, how to perform stand-up comedy. I've been doing stand-up comedy for roughly 7 years, and I can tell you that what you will need prior to your first big gig is an understanding of your life experiences, an understanding of humor, and a heck of a lot of courage. So let's go through, and hopefully I can get you ready for the stage. The first thing that it's important to know is you have got to be comfortable with the idea that you're going to bomb. Even the greatest comedians of all time have experience with bombing. It takes a great deal of courage to get up in front of an audience and bear your honest truth in a way that makes people smile and laugh. And it is okay to recognize the inherent challenge that exists within that. But it is so rewarding when you find that courage and you hit that joke and you hear a symphony of laughter wafting through the audience. But it may not happen right away. So, as cliche as it is, what we teach children really is true. If at first you don't succeed, try again. And just know, even the most confident comic at your first showing has a story with bombing. We all do. It is the invisible string that connects the comedy community to each other. So don't be afraid of the bomb. Accept it as a part of the comedic creative process. The next thing that you need to learn to do is to adapt your experiences in a way that resonate with your audience. For example, my comedy centers around my history and identity with my vision impairment. One of my favorite jokes to tell is, my father always said I wasn't much of a looker, which is a great way to describe my disability and lack of attractiveness in one go. Find what connects you, because as adult learners, the one thing that we all have that makes us stand out above the rest is years of experience in this crazy little thing called life. So really connect with those experiences. The best way to do that is to have a healthy sense of metacognitiveness. And what that basically means is you know what life has thrown at you. You know what your experiences are. You know how they have adapted and molded you into the outstanding individual that you are today. So use it to your advantage. It is equally important that you also have a sense of adaptiveness. Adapt to your audience. I've got different sets. Some are what I call my PG sets, and that means they are A-okay to perform in front of kiddos and families. And then, call me a pirate, but then I've got an R-rated set, which means if I'm in a room full of adults, we're drinking, we're relaxed, we're chill, I can drop a few F-bombs. I won't be doing that on this video, however, because this video is going on YouTube, and YouTube does not like the F-bombs. Another important theory that you need to utilize is hypothesis testing. So what that means is you can read an audience and you may think you know what they're thinking, and you may think you know what material is appropriate, but sometimes audiences can be deceiving and backgrounds can work against you. So it's really important that you use trial and error as well as hypothesis testing to really get a glimpse of how your audience is feeling and reacting to you. So for example, if a joke really lands, I know it's okay to keep going with it, keep rolling. So for example, if I'm talking about an ex-boyfriend and the audience is really super into it, then I know it's okay to stay on that topic for a little bit longer because this audience is really feeling it. However, if I tell an ex-boyfriend joke and there's just kind of groans or the laughter isn't as loud as expected, that's my brain and that is my environment telling me, okay, pivot to something else. So if I don't get the response I'm hoping for, I might pivot to childhood stories. And then if childhood stories is rolling, it's okay to roll with it. Trust your audience. They know what they like, but they also know how much courage it takes to get up in front of them and bare yourself. So understand, I know it can be easy to get up there and think, oh my goodness, they just can't wait to judge me. They can't wait to think the worst of me. I can assure you that's not true. What they're thinking is, oh my goodness, this person has so much courage to get up there and try to make us laugh. I really admire that. Another example of really knowing your audience is another big part of my identity is my Christianity. And so I know you kind of genuinely get the idea of, oh, the church crowd, they are very, they're very by the book. They don't want to hear any cussing. They don't want to hear anything dirty. They want it to be just purer than holy water. And for some, that's true. But the church I attend, I'm very lucky that it is more liberal leaning. It is more open to new ideas and creative ways of expression. So I would know with that audience, I would know that their looks can be deceiving and that I can be a little raunchier and a little funnier with them. But if I'm going to a brand new church and they're doing open mic comedy, I am going to be a lot more careful about what waters I test and know how to get out and abandon if it's not going well. And that's another important thing for you to know. There is no shame in abandoning ship. I have known stand-up comics and their first show, they get up there and they stand around for a minute and then they maybe mumble, knock, knock, who's there? Banana who? And then go on and tell the basic orange banana joke that everyone's heard a million times. And when they're met with groans, they're just like, thank you. And they bow out. But you know what? There's no shame in it because that person took their first little step into the world of comedy. And 9 out of 10 times, if they're willing to step back up there again, they get a little bit deeper into it. That's how any of us learn and grow, regardless of what our age is. So I would really encourage you to give yourself credit for every little step that you take on your road to becoming a comedian. We won't all end up on SNL. In fact, most of us won't, but we can learn a lot about ourselves and about each other. In conclusion, stand-up comedy is an art form that takes time, practice, resilience, and a deep understanding of yourself and your story. It is important to continue to test your audience, test yourself, and get outside of that comfort zone, because the outside of the comfort zone is where all learning takes place. I've been Elizabeth Hamilton, and I look forward to seeing you on the stage.